I'm Matt the Jerk here with Dynasty Owner. Another Wednesday video for you. If you go ahead and read my article, pairs with this video, it'll give you a little bit better of an idea of what I'm trying to say here, a little bit further of a breakdown. So let's jump right into it. If you remember last week, I started doing an incredibly true statistics article series. Last week we talked about the quarterbacks. Today we're going to talk about running backs. Let's just jump right into it. First person we're going to talk about is Cordarrelle Patterson. So Patterson, we know he plays for the Falcons. I don't really know where to begin when talking about Patterson. I guess we can just start with the facts. So through 4 weeks, Patterson has 86.7 fantasy points. That's good for 21.7 per game. 45 touches on the season, so a little more than 10 per game. Pretty low volume overall. Salary is $3 million. Been an absolute steal so far for anyone in Dynasty Owner. Now for the biggest and most incredible statistic is that he is currently running back 3 in Dynasty Owner. That is right. You heard it right. There's only 2 running backs that have more fantasy points than him. That's Derrick Henry and Austin Ekeler. So just unbelievable, rare air that he's in right now. It's tough because you hesitate to even call him a running back. He has received more rushes than receptions, but he's labeled as a running back and he's used as a running back for Atlanta. So that's what he is in Dynasty Owner. Majority, however, of his fantasy points have come through the air. It's actually 79.4% of his fantasy points have come through the receiving game. So at this point, seems like Patterson is more of a cheat code than anything. The fact that you can use him as a running back when he's really a very quick stretch the field type receiver. But he's found a serious connection with Matt Ryan. I don't think that he's going to finish the season as a top 5 running back. He'll continue to be a value though with this cheap salary. So I'd continue to start him as long as I can, as long as his efficiency still keeps up. Next, we have Kareem Hunt. So I don't think anyone doubted the fact that Kareem Hunt was a top 10 talent, coming into this season. He's always been one of the best running backs in the league. What I am surprised about is that he is running back 8 on the young season. Again, not surprised that he couldn't do that by himself, but with Nick Chubb in the picture, it's kind of hard to imagine enough volume for both of them to go around where especially Hunt, what we think of as the second running back would be a top 8 running back, at least without an injury to Nick Chubb. So that's where the incredible stat comes from, is the fact that Kareem Hunt is running back 8 on the season. Nick Chubb is running back 14. So Hunt has surpassed Chubb at least for the first 4 weeks. And you look at their 2021 statistics so far. So Kareem Hunt has, about 26 less rushing attempts. It's not surprising. And the reason he has more fantasy points is that his receptions are up 8 more receptions than Chubb and almost 100 more receiving yards. So the touchdowns are about the same, but regardless, they're running back 8 and 14 on the season, respectively. So I'm here to tell you not to freak out. There's no reason to freak out. We knew that Chubb was going to be the primary rushing running back. We knew that Hunt was going to be the primary, third down and receiving running back. That's not surprising. So I think it's just a little bit too much of a small sample size. I think that Chubb probably will finish the season as the better running back fantasy-wise. But, it remains to be seen. If they're, down in games a lot, Hunt is the player that's going to benefit from that the most. They're going to kind of abandon the running game as we've seen them do in the past. As a Chubb owner, you're going to have to limit expectations, and you might have already limited expectations coming into the season. So he's not going to get you 70% of the workload. It's just not going to happen. We're looking at probably a 50-50 split, 55-45 split, maybe even 60-40. Either way, Hunt is going to get some of those more valuable touches as the season goes on, those receiving touches. Chubb is still going to be the better value on the whole season, I predict, especially if their dynasty owner points stay the same, similar to each other. Chubb costs you right at $1.8 million. Hunt costs you $6 million. So Chubb is going to be the better value when the season's all over. Up next, James Robinson. He had a very slow start to the season, less than 10 fantasy points in his first 2 games. He's currently running back 10. So that tells you how well he played over the past couple of weeks. And, I wrote a little thing about Robinson. I think it was the first article of this new season. Go ahead and read that. Essentially what it says is that he's hard to trust. It seemed like there was an unwillingness for Urban Meyer to use Robinson. He's pretty much the only guy left, though, at this point. So kind of a similar situation to last year. But I truly do believe he's the best running back on the team with Etienne hurt, not able to play. So hopefully Robinson continues to get that value. I've seen enough, of work that they've given over the past 2 weeks to slide him back into our running back, starting running back spot. So Robinson's a good running back, and he plays like it, and he should be started in most formats. Finally, we're going to talk about the bad last 2 players, Myles Gaskin and Miles Sanders. So 2 Miles we're talking about. Just boil it down to, they're both struggling. Their teams are both struggling. They're both worse than running back 30 in the first 4 games of the season. There's a lot of stats that I laid out in the article. I'm not going to read through all those, but essentially what it boils down to is they're playing worse than they played last year. They're playing worse than expected coming into the 2021 season. And even more disappointing is the fact that their touches are down, their volume is down. So Sanders is averaging just 12 touches per game. He had a game, I think it was week 3. He only had 2 carries, so just unbelievably disappointing. I mean that's like third string running back type stuff. So 12 touches per game for Sanders. Gaskin is averaging 10.3 touches per game, just under what we expected them to come in to see. The one bright spot is their salary. So while I don't think that they're going to finish the season as top 10 running backs, I think that's kind of out of the realm of possibility. They're both going to finish as top 10 values most likely, especially Gaskin, with just how incredibly dirt cheap his salary is. Sander has a salary of $1.34 million, and Gaskin has a salary of right at $650,000. So great bench running back value. And then when the bye weeks come around, you could probably slide, one of those or both of them into your starting lineup. That's about all I want to talk about. Next week, we're going to be doing incredibly true statistics for the wide receivers. I hope to see you all then. Go ahead and follow us at Dynasty Owner on Twitter, and then you can follow me as well on Twitter at Dynasty Jerk. So I appreciate everybody listening.